Kid in a candy store time.
Yep.
Kill, where do we start?
Well,
Sorry,
I actually pulled out something really fun.
Okay.
This I actually didn't make. My mother made this in the 80s. This was her Star Trek The Next Generation uniform.
That's fantastic.
And she pulled it out of storage for me so I could show it today. And this was actually the first costume I wore at a convention when they took me to Mid-South Con in the 80s.
Awesome. Could very well be the genesis of it all, right?
This is it. And as you can see, the pips here are gold tape. This is another older one that I have. This is Belle Dandy from the anime Ah My Goddess. This one's from 2003.
Wow.
And this one has actually stayed in pretty good shape for its age.
I think you said it was from 2003?
Yes. And I actually just wore it 2 years ago again. It's one of my favorites, so.
So with something like that, I noticed all the patterning on it. Is that something you had to put a lot of effort into patterning it, or is it just kind of when you get to a certain point, you just wing it on certain things?
Yeah, there's some of it is you can find, I actually had a pattern that was this basic shape with this collar piece.
Okay.
And then it was just, figuring out how you do it open up to here,
Right.
And then doing all the patterning on the triangles. This was all yellow vinyl that we cut out in segments and sewed on.
So you didn't really have to hem those top pieces
Right.
at all.
They're just vinyl, so no hemming needed.
It's what's one of them on this rack that's probably your favorite of the whole rack?
Ooh.
Oh, rough question, sorry. Fun question, but never easy when somebody springs it on you.
My Anne Boleyn.
Wow.
This one I made 2 years ago, and it's a replica of the dress that Anne Boleyn wears in Anne of the Thousand Days.
Whoa.
And I'm very proud of it, especially the sleeves.
Oh my goodness. Okay, see, now I'm jealous. Now I have to learn to sew. It's a thing. I have to learn now.
And I just love how everything turned out on it. I mean, I look at it and I just fall in love all over again. And then I love my Peggy Carter. This was really inspired by my grandfather, who still had his World War II Air Force jacket. And every time I'd go over there and they'd pull it out, I would just admire the construction of it. And so when I saw Peggy Carter, I was like, this is my excuse to get to make a World War II era uniform like my grandfather's. So this was an experience because I'd really tried to finish everything. So
wow.
All of the inside is finished as much as possible.
That's like a French seam in there.
And I learned how to do these pockets. So this was a fun experience, and I got to share it with him before he passed last year.
That's incredible.
I found vintage World War II buttons just like on the real uniform, and this was a really fun project. This is the one I'm going to wear this weekend to Memphis Comic and Fantasy Festival. This is my Donna Noble Unicorn and the Wasp.
Oh, wow.
Dress. And I just love how this came out. It was about 3 months of sitting on the couch, beading and embroidering.
I must say that had to have been all done by hand, didn't it?
Yeah. There's a serpentine stitch that was done on the machine underneath everything.
Yeah.
And then I just layered on top of it. So that was just like my guide for everything. And this is one that I've only worn once. So yeah, I'm wearing it again this weekend. Here is Disgust from Inside Out. And I decided, I was originally going to just order spoonflower fabric that was already printed. And then I thought, well, let's do something fun. So I did an embroidery technique all over it for the designs. And it wasn't completely successful, but I like that it has texture to it instead of just being flat. Here is my Trillion from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is probably the most comfortable costume I own. It is like wearing a house robe. The fun thing about this was doing all this seaming up the front and down the legs.
Wow.
And the stitching on the sleeves and the arms down here, the legs down here. And then let's see, what else do we have? This one's newer. This is Edith from Crimson Peak. This one I just did earlier this year. And this is one I basically had to remake after I finished it, because when I went to do the dyeing of the clay staining at the bottom.
I was just going to ask if that was actually how you got that accomplished that. You said it was a clay staining?
In the movie, it's a clay staining.
Okay.
So I did it with dye. But my first version, I should have had somebody else helping me hold part of it up. My first version, I ended up with the die up to here.
Oh.
And I agonized over it.
Oh.
And finally, I decided I'm not going to be happy with it unless I remake it. So I had to order all new fabric and remake all of this from here down all over again and re-dye it. But if I didn't, I wouldn't have been happy with it. So
fair enough. I've scrapped more than one project when it was 90% finished.
But at least I didn't have to redo all this plating at the neckline. That would have been a disaster.
Ooh. With all these different pieces, is it each time you pick a new costume, did you ever pick a costume because of a certain technique that you hadn't tried before?
Actually, yeah, a lot of them. Like this one, I really just wanted to do the smocking at the neckline.
Huh.
This one is the tightrope walker from the Haunted Mansion. And this one is one where I really just wanted to paint the flowers on the skirt. And then I had fun with the sleeves because it's based on a painting, so I could really do whatever I wanted as long as it was pink and white. So I picked this rosette flower fabric and some lace. And then I did a little detail on the bow of Master Gracie.
Wow. So I love when you have little details like that are something that even if they don't necessarily get seen, they don't show up in the photos, it's what makes it so much fun for you.
It makes it fun for me, exactly.
Yeah.
This one doesn't show too well on the hanger, but I don't care. I love it. This is my second version of Belle's ball gown.
Wow.
And it is normally worn with the hoops that are seen over there on the the pink
Yeah, because it was one of the ones, the hoops are what make it go way out around the bottom, right?
Yeah. And I just love it. It's just one of those that I look at and I love it. And this one is a little simpler. This is my Romana 1 from Doctor Who without the cape. But this one was fun to do because I wanted to do all this.
Again, that's sort of pleating plating? Is that what you called it?
Pleating, yeah.
Okay.
And I thought it was going to be a really easy project, and it was not. It took me way longer than I expected, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And once again, it is super comfortable. And here's another one where we had a lot of details. This is Corday, the blown-up decoy from Star Wars Episode 2. The handmaiden who gets blown up at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I remember now. Okay, yeah.
They actually took promo shots of her in the blown up version of the costume. So it's like, I want to do the blown up version of the costume. So I stamped this entire robe with the design and then had to destroy it with dye and paint to make it look torn up. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I probably should have gone a little farther, but...
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I get into that when I'm prop building, you have the last step of just weathering everything to make it look
so
beaten
scary.
and worn, and you're just like, I have to destroy what I've made so perfect.
Exactly. Oh, let's see. Here's another Star Wars one I love. This one is older. This I made in 2005. Okay. This is my Queen Amidala parade dress.
Wow.
And this one has really been through the ringer because it's one of my Rebel Legion costumes. So I've trooped in it a lot. And the parasol for it that goes on the back is up there. It's delicate, so it stays up out of the way. This is Arwen's blood red dress, which I actually wasn't going to do at first, but a friend of mine talked me into it, and I'm so glad she did because I really love it. This is another older one. It's from 2005, and you can kind of see where it's beginning to show its age a little bit in places, but
you pulled that one off the shelf and I went, oh, I know this one. So I had that moment. So that's fantastic. I think that's half the fun of it.
Yes.
Is when you walk past something and somebody goes, oh, yes. Can I have your picture, please?
I'm always curious about what costumes people respond to. And it's always something different for everybody, you know. And sometimes you get that one where nobody else has ever said anything about it. And then you get that one person that says, oh my God, I love your Alice costume or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, nobody's ever even known that character before. Right? Thank you.
Oh, I think you're getting one of my favorite ones off the rack.
If I can get her out of there. Let's see. This is Meg.
This is Meg from Hercules, right?
That's right. And this one was fun because I just had some fun with picking out different stitching details on my sewing machine to play with and pleating all the chiffon.
Wow.
Just picking out all the different metal things to put on it.
All the details and the clasps and everything.
Yes. This one was
That is fantastic. Did you kind of have to imagine some of the details with this one? Because it was cell animation, so there wasn't an enormous amount of detail in the dress itself to start work, even if you're pulling screenshots.
Part of the thing with Disney costumes is that you do have the park costumes to look at. So I looked at the way they did theirs. I didn't really care for some of it. It's not bad. It's just not the way that I would personally want to do it. So I took some of their ideas, like the pleating through here, and then I played with it a little bit. Like I did a little bit darker dye down at the bottom to give it some
a little bit of depth and transition to it.
But it is so much fun to wear. It is so flowy. This is Lady Blackhawk from Birds of Prey.
Oh, wow. How many people have you got that have stopped you and be like, I know that one?
Only a handful. And it's really disappointing because I love this costume. I embroidered the patch because I couldn't find them on both this and the hat. The hat's up there. This hat was a costume one that I bought at just, a junky little Halloween store that I ripped everything off of and recovered in my own fabric. This is my Snow White.
Awesome. See, I bet you that's one of the ones that does get a lot of recognition.
Oh, yes, it does. And this was another one where I had a lot of fun playing with the details because you're open to do pretty much anything. So I had fun picking out different fabrics and picking different trims to use.
I was about to say, it looks like you did different fabrics and trims, and even the skirt part of it has different texture and pattern.
There's a matte satin and then a floral print satin.
Where do you find like all the little clasps and findings and all these intricate things? Is it an amalgamation of a ton of things? Or?
Mostly like Hobby Lobby and Michael's. They have nowadays they have 3 aisles of just random little bits and pieces, and it's amazing. I would just go in there when stuff is on sale and just, oh, that's neat, that's neat, that's neat, and just buy a bunch of stuff and just keep it in my stash and become a hoarder, And then I have to pull this one out.
Okay, see, I was going to ask, because I didn't recognize this one. The work is amazing. It's gorgeous.
This was my original Marie Antoinette dress that I made in 2011. And when I bought the fabric, I didn't order a swatch, which was bad on my part.
Help me, what's a swatch?
Wait, before you actually pay for 15 yards of fabric, you should order a swatch. Usually they're like $1 or 50 cents. To make sure that the fabric is actually what you want.
It's like a sample size, right? Okay, yeah.
And I didn't do that. I trusted what I saw on the screen, and what I thought was going to be sky blue ended up being royal blue. So I kind of had to change my whole plan. And after working on it for a while, I thought, this is kind of a TARDIS blue. So I decided to just make some extra TARDIS pieces, and I have an extra thing that covers right here that says police box.
Oh, that's fun.
And the different underskirt that is the interior. And I made a little extra hat. So
it's dual purpose then in that case.
It's dual purpose. And actually I've made 2 different TARDIS versions. And they've both gotten worn more than just the regular Marie Antoinette that was the original costume. But this is one of my favorites. I love the color now. I'm so glad that mistake happened because...
So if somebody's doing one of these projects and they get something and it's not what they originally intended, don't freak out, just run with it.
Right. Just regroup and figure out what you can do to make it work. It's just like Project Runway, make it work,
Yeah. Thank you, Tim Gunn.
And then over here I have something that's a little different. This is my original take on Glimmer from She-Ra.
Okay, I thought I recognized that.
And I was part of a He-Man and She-Ra group that was trying to do like a more realistic kind of Game of Thrones-y look for the He-Man and She-Ra characters. So I did a Warbler chest piece on a leather corset that I embroidered, and chiffon cape, and a leather belt with Warbler details that's kind of coming apart a little bit. But you can still see what it was at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. I've walked past this one a few times, and the detail work on this is incredible. But what is this one done from?
This one was actually supposed to be a take on Belle's pink something there dress from Beauty and the Beast. And it actually does have a separate little belt that I wear here and a little shawl. But I kind of got carried away and started doing my own thing with it because I was just having so much fun making it as girly and pink and pukey as possible. So it's really kind of morphed into my own thing at this point.
Fair enough. Do you find that when you have a project like this that it's something that like you start and you have an idea in mind and then it just completely runs away with itself?
Yes, especially ones like this where it was started as kind of an original idea to start with. So it just went out of control and turned into something completely different.
Are they ever really, do you feel like they're ever really done?
No, they're never done. Never. Like, just standing here, I pick at things. I'm like, oh, I need to fix that. And don't look at that right there.
Kel, thank you so much for giving us a chance to have a look around, see these incredible creations that you've put together. A place where viewers could go to see maybe some more of the creations that we didn't have time to look over today would be?
My website is kelldar.com. I have almost 20 years of blog posts there about building costumes. So if you have a few months to spare, go check it out.
And a Facebook page as well, right?
Yes, facebook.com/KelldarCostumes.
Definitely check that one out. It was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to our viewers for tuning in and watching another episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can get more of these videos out to you. If you guys have any comments, questions, or anything like that, feel free to just add them below the video. We'll answer as many as we can, as quickly as we can. But thanks again for the viewership, and we'll see you again in another episode of LARP and Cosplay.